Out of all the Game Freak leak stories, the one with Slaking is the worst, and I'm going to cover it here for you guys. I'm going to read it straight off the screen here. It says, in the distant past, when the boundary between Pokemon and humans was still blurred, there was a woman and her companions. Every day they were bored, so they would often catch Slackoff living in a nearby forest. They played cruel games with the captured Slackoff, sometimes unaliving them for fun, gouging out their eyes, and cutting off their ears. One day, the woman was walking alone in the forest and saw a Slackoth hanging from a tree. She climbed the tree to catch it, but slipped and injured herself. At that moment, a Vigoroth appeared. This Vigoroth had a torn ear. The woman, startled, tried to flee, but her injured leg hurt too much and she couldn't move. The Vigoroth with the torn ear suddenly attacked her. When it saw her, the woman lost consciousness. When she awoke, she was in an unfamiliar place. Before her lay a clear lake surrounded by trees, which many Slackoth and Vigoroth were hanging. All the Pokemon bore wounds somewhere on their bodies, marks left by the woman and her companions. Upon closer inspection, she noticed that some of the Slackoth hanging from the trees were corpses. They were very Slackoth that the woman and her friends had killed and discarded. The Slackoth were throwing those corpses into the lake. Terrified, the woman tried to run away, but Slaking appeared. This Slaking also had a torn ear. The woman realized that this was the same Vigoroth she had seen earlier, and fear overwhelmed her, causing her to faint once more. When the woman regained consciousness, she found herself at the entrance of the forest near her home, surrounded by her friends. They carried her back to her house. Sometime later, the woman gave birth to a child, but it wasn't a human child. It was a Slackoth. She intended to abandon it, but couldn't bring herself to do so. She stopped meeting with her friends and decided to raise it. One day, her friends, concerned about her, visited her home. They found Slackoff sleeping there, the child of the woman. As they always did, they caught the Slackoff, stabbed it in the chest, and unalived it. They took its corpse and headed to the woman's house. When she saw the slain Slackoff, the woman was overwhelmed with sorrow. She grabbed the body and ran deep into the forest. Her friends, shocked, chased after her. As they ventured deep into the forest, the surroundings suddenly opened up, and they found the same clear lake before. Around the lake were many Slackoth and Vigoroth. The woman stood before the lake, and holding the lifeless body of the Slackoth, she threw herself into the water. Afterwards, the woman's friends began to treat Slackoth as companions, just as she had in her final moments. Yo, what the fuck, bro? That story is crazy, man. That is by far the worst story out of all the leaks. I'm telling you right now. Typhlosion, yeah, he's not beating the allegations, but this one is cruel, unsettling, disturbing. It is wild. These leaks are crazy. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Which other Pokemon do you want to know about? Rapidash was on there, Lapras, Hypno, Typhlosion, obviously. It's crazy, guys. These stories are absolutely like mind-boggling. But follow for more updates.